So Donald Trump just released his bill to replace Obamacare because remember, even though they had about 8 years to figure out what they'd replace it with once they repealed it, they didn't exactly figure out what they'd replace it with once they repealed it until this year. And let's go over it bit by bit. Have some fun. Just a reminder, by the way, they tried to repeal Obamacare over 60 times. And this is their replacement that they just came up with about a day ago. Also, I want to stress, I don't think Obamacare was even all that good in the end. It was this weird mesh between single payer and private healthcare, and it really didn't work all that well. Now, don't get me wrong, I still do think it's better than the system we had before, where it was basically the Wild West. However, there were definitely improvements that could have been made. Let's see how Trump did. Now, they did keep a few revisions of Obamacare that have got nothing but wide praise, such as the ability to keep your children on a healthcare plan until they are 26. Or they have also kept the ability to not be rejected from healthcare companies due to pre-existing conditions, which is basically whatever I want them to be. Some healthcare company. Now, of course, we all understand why, because then Donald Trump could be denied health insurance if we find out that orange face counts as a pre-existing condition to something he has. I don't know, he's 70. But that's what they kept the same. Let's see what they changed. Now, under Obamacare, you got subsidies from the government if you were earning a certain amount for your health care. This bill is going to replace it and instead give you subsidies and tax credits for your age. Because only old people need health care, I guess? What? So, sorry, poor people, but you should have lived a little bit longer, and then maybe we'll give you a tax credit. Maybe we'll give you subsidies for your health care. Of course, considering the rest of this bill, that's a very strong maybe. Now, it's obvious what's going to happen. People won't be able to afford health care, and they're going to go without it, just like last time. You don't believe me? We got evidence from the 1770s to 2009. That's how long America went without this provision. And keep in mind, Obamacare covered about 30 million people, and already within their first idea for this bill, they are slashing that 30 million. By quite a bit, I imagine. There will also be no more individual mandate. Now, from what I understand, at least, the individual mandate made it so I believe you had to pay higher taxes if you didn't have health care. Now, I, to an extent, agree with this provision. You should be taxed the exact same as everyone else. However, I'd like to argue that making a reason for people to go out and get health care, especially affordable health care, is probably better than nothing. Just saying! So, ideas like removing the individual mandate mean that millions of people are going to go uncovered because private healthcare companies run the show. And without an individual mandate, they will continue to run the show and people will go uncovered. Do you see the problem with this? But hey, if I go to the bill, I can probably find how many people they want to insure. They don't have those numbers, though, in the bill. We don't know how many people they want to insure. We don't know how many people they think are insured. We legitimately have no idea how many people they think they can insure via this act. How? Well, probably because negative numbers don't exactly look good on a bill, but in fact, that's probably the exact reason why. Another idea they have given is basically that we should no longer have state lines for insurance. This makes sense for the company because then they could just go to the state that's taxing them the least. and then increase profit, because remember, the United States is the only first world nation, that I'm aware of at least, that actively has profit in healthcare. How? This bill also includes a tax break for companies, insurance companies, that pay their CEOs more than $500,000 a year. Because how many of you predicted this? Show of hands. Yeah, they're giving tax breaks to the people who already make so much money they don't need tax breaks. You know, I was thinking the other day, wouldn't it make more sense to give tax breaks to poorer people whose lives might genuinely be more affected by higher taxation? Of course! But then I realized, no, these people don't make any sense. Why am I even bothering? If you can afford the amount of taxes and not have your life affected all that much, you deserve a tax break. If you are poor and might actually need that money you're being taxed for something decently important, you don't get any tax breaks. We're the GOP. We're for Americans. Rich Americans, but Americans. Now let me wave my American flag like it's a magic wand to make me look smart. Please believe me. Please believe me. And this bill will also defund Planned Parenthood and eliminate all abortion coverage. Even though Planned Parenthood is not getting any kind of federal money and all abortions are being paid for out of pocket. Whoops! Also, since someone's going to talk about the morality of abortion, I just want to remind you guys, Planned Parenthood does much more than abortion. It's actually just a women's health care clinic. And adds other services related to birth control. But it does like 5% abortions, so they're going to try and defund it, even though they were never funding it to begin with. You see, it's this really weird cycle where you don't give someone money, and then you take your money back. But then you say you gave them money so you can take their money. It's like if you walked up to me and said, "Hey, Ephrom, can I borrow $20? And I said no, and then I came up to you a week later and say, "Hey, man, you got those $20 you owe me?" And you said you never gave me $20. And I say, "Well, you asked me for something that kind of sounded like $20, so give me $50 now." I look insane doing that. And this is our president's actual plan. They are also phasing out the Medicare Expansion under Obamacare, which it gave coverage to about 11 million people. Did I mention this entire thing is extremely corporatist? The only bad effect Obamacare had on businesses is it costed most businesses, some money. Not even all that much, mind you. A decent amount, sure, but none they'll be missing. Of course, the $500,000 a year or more giving you a tax break will probably make up for some of that lost money that never even really existed, but, you know, because I don't. The only effect taking away the Medicare expansion would actually have is getting rid of healthcare for poor people. That's it. That is the only effect it will have. But I guess poor people don't deserve health care because, hey, they should have been born richer. Look at this poor person. I'm not showing you a picture of a poor person, but look, go outside, find a poor person. Tell that person, well, you should have just been born richer. Then maybe Trump would give you health care. That doesn't make any sense. Just a reminder, by the way, every other modern nation doesn't need a Medicare expansion because they already give health care to everybody for free. Okay, yeah, nothing's free. It's paid for by the government, but you know what I mean. And then there is my absolute favorite part of the bill. It takes up 7 out of the 66 pages. You will no longer get Medicare, or you will be denied Medicare, if you are a lottery winner. Somebody actually wrote that! Somebody spent 7 pages of a bill saying, okay, who should we deny health care to? Lottery winners! I don't even know anymore. This is just such a disaster. Oh, God. The only real thing I have to say is, this is Trump's America. A failure. I'm Cifro Joe, and I don't even know anymore.